as she's walking through the first floor again, we come out of there, she turns to me and said, "Did this family do voodoo or have voodoo done to them?" And that wasn't listed there, and I said, "Not that I know of. I'm pretty sure they would have mentioned that to me, but I don't know." So she said, "Do me a favor." Now, they were in the process of taking their kids to a place for the night. She's like, "Can you give them a call and ask if they ever did voodoo or had voodoo done to them?" And I'm thinking, wow, this is early on with working with Virginia. We've done a couple cases, but although I was trusting her already because she blew me away, I'm thinking this is make or break the psychic time for these people, because Dad does not believe in ghosts. Although there's a lot of weird stuff going on in his house, he's not a big believer. Mom kind of is, but I'm like, if I call and I'm wrong, Dad's going to think this psychic is out of her mind. But Virginia is like, "Please call. I trust her." Okay. So I called. I said, "Hey, Sharon, weird question. Did you guys ever have or do voodoo or have voodoo done to you?" And she said, "Yeah, we think so." Her friend did what they call a heart binding ceremony and reportedly manifested something and sent to him in the way of like an evil entity to physically and financially corrupt him. That was the goal of all this stuff. You can't kill somebody legally, but I guess that's the next best thing. As Virginia's doing the walkthrough out of the basement, she wanted to sit down in the dining room at one point and kind of meditate a little bit just to help her tune in a little bit more in the house. And she said all of a sudden it felt like somebody came from behind her, threw a bag over her head and yanked it backwards, and then something was like choking her. That's the feeling she was getting. So she was able to, she has a way of disconnecting herself from that energy, she says. Got that stopped, and now she's saying whatever this lady sent to him seems to be true. I'm feeling that there's something dark here. So that was during the day. One night they heard a lot of noise going on upstairs, so she grabs her camera, they go upstairs, everybody's sleeping, they know nobody's up there, but they can actually hear their keyboard playing. And you can see, she snapped a picture of it, the keyboard is back here with when you press the keys down, they light up. So you can see it's lighting up by itself, but the strange part is it's not even plugged in. The first one, they claim that there was footsteps up and down their stairs constantly. They have a carpeted stairwell, and they said it sounds like somebody almost stomping their feet. And this we captured on a recorder that was right by their stairs. So we played that for them, and they said, "That's it. That's exactly what we hear all the time." Nobody's in the house, nobody's next door, and I think we got that like 2 or 3 times throughout that hour that we were gone. Next one I think is a little more interesting. You can hear a little squeak, a little ting. It took us a while, but we found that. In their master bedroom, they have one set of dresser drawers that has a metal plate on it, and on each side it's got a little handle that kind of swivels up, and if you pick it up and drop it, that's the sound it makes. So we think, we're almost positive it was the same noise that we found on those handles. Some of the handles sound just a little bit different, but we got some other handles I think moving too. It's one example. So again, you can see 816, 819, 825. It's all, roughly the same noise, and that went on for almost that whole hour. This one's a little bit different. That sound like anything?
Money.
Quarters.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Sound like. And this is the video camera that we had in the master bedroom when the 1/4 hit the chair that we got. This is not one of the new high-def digital recorders. This is going back to 2010 analog recorder, so the clarity is not great. But when you play it right from that DVR on a good screen, you can see a quarter goes flying across the floor, hits the chair, and drops right here. But it's fast. I had to watch this thing like 3 or 4 times before I actually noticed the quarter hitting the chair. But for the purpose of the video, if you watch right in the corner below this computer chair, you'll see it almost looks like something either drops there or just pops right into the frame there. See that pop in there? It's fast. You can kind of see it skating a little bit there. And again, there's nobody in the house. There are no animals in the house at the time.
I can't see it.
Can't see it? No. right there.
Between this house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to see. Want me to do that one more time?
Yeah. Can you see there's nothing there?
Yep. Yeah, if you're watching right there, there's nothing there, and then it pops.
There it is. There it is. There it shows up. Just comes across and drops out. Nothing there, nothing there. Comes across.
See it coming across?
Yeah, I can see it
Can
going.
you really?
So I'll play this, and you'll get to see a couple of things this camera picked up. We don't know what it is, and there's nobody on that floor at the time. But it does play into something that happens later. So that happened, it's wedged, but I'm thinking maybe, you know, it's gravity or something, the door's off balance. Then it goes the other way. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe it's not off balance. Shouldn't do that. So a couple hours later, we went up and re-wedged it and actually taped our cable down. Now there's even more force exerted against it. And I don't know if that's because it was wedged in better and it took more force to push it, and once that cord reel moved, it just flew open a little bit more. But that happened 2 more times during the night where we actually caught it opening or closing. And then something happened that triggered Gus. If he wasn't a believer before, he absolutely was now. He was seeing a shadow out of the corner of his eye, feeling like he was being watched sometimes, but still really wasn't buying in it's a ghost. Something weird, but he wasn't saying it was a ghost. But then he took a picture of this. If you can see this outline here, it actually covers over this paper. The paper like comes through it almost. Gus went to bed, and a little while later he got thirsty, so he went down to the kitchen. He's leaning against the kitchen sink, getting a cup of water, and he said he felt something touch his neck and his shoulder, and turned and looked, and he didn't see that exactly, but he said, I saw this dark mass, like a shapeless mass right next to him. And he said he dropped the glass and just completely froze. And he's like, I don't even know how I did it. I managed to get my cell phone open and snap a picture of that. He said, but it actually moved away from me and went into the refrigerator, kind of, and curved over here and then down the stairs. But he said it was slow, but slow enough where he got a picture of it. And he said, I don't even remember getting the picture. I don't know how he did it, but he goes, I knew something happened. I looked at my phone. I realized later on I got the picture, but he didn't remember the process when he went through it because he was so scared. Now he's convinced he's got a ghost in his house. A guy who did not believe in ghosts had that experience, and that's why they called back and said, hey, you know, we got to do something. I talked to Virginia. She's like, yeah, we got to go back. You know, I got to get my hands on this thing firsthand. I need to be there. Kids are in the house. We can't let this go on any longer. So we decided to go back for a second investigation.